So how's it going, motherfuckers? I wanted to do a quick little review here of Sonic Mania. So I downloaded this about 2 weeks ago. I finally finished it. Uh, this right here is a game that I have been anticipating for a while, well over a year. They announced it. And the thing is, this was a game that was pretty hard for me to wait for. Uh, I gotta be honest, I'm in the minority. I'm a pretty big Sonic fan, not as big as some of the weirdo Sonic fans here on the internet. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. You guys know that I've got the tattoo of Sonic right there. So, and you see that I've got the retro Sonic, by the way. Not that I don't like the adventure remake of Sonic's design, but I've always been a fan of this more compact version of Sonic, the shorter one. I grew up reading the comics from a young age, obviously from the 90s, and watching the cartoon, both of them. I'm not one of these people that's gonna say, "Oh, I hated the one that was on during the week." No, I love them all. I did. The only one I wasn't crazy about was Underground. Sonic X I did enjoy for a time, but I was a fan of Sonic, like in all forms. I mean, I couldn't get enough of him. Uh, I think most of all, it's like the design of the character. Just you see a character and you instantly like him. That's like kind of how it was for me with like Earthworm Jim and stuff, and how badly I want that series to come back. There's just some characters where you take a look at them and you fall in love with them, and Sonic was one of them. So even though being a big Mario fan, and I would probably go out on a limb and say that you know Mario probably has the better games. I don't know if I really want to say that, but Super Mario World, I don't know really if any of the Sonic games could really compete with that, because that's one of the best games of all time, one of my favorite games of all time. But those Sonic games, I mean, I'm sorry, but nothing beats Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That's, you put those two games together, and like you really can't beat it. I mean, but all of them, the first game, the second game, I mean, I found something to like about most of the Sonic games. I've even found some enjoyment out of Sonic 06. I can't really even say that that game is completely terrible. There's a lot of annoying fucking parts to that game, but I gotta say, like, there's things that I like about it. So, but let's talk about Sonic Mania. This game is a throwback. Many people hated Sonic 4. I didn't mind it. The second episode was way better than the first. Yeah, there was a lot of annoying things with that game. I go back and watch my old reviews of it. You have Sonic, like, after he rolls into a ball and flies up in the air, he goes, "Ah!" And I didn't like that. I wanted to see, other things from those games, but I really did desperately want an episode 3. And it never came. It got canceled, and we went a long time without like one of these styles of games. When you really think about it, we didn't have like a full-fledged 2D Sonic game since 2012. So there was a 5-year drought of not having any fucking game to follow up Sonic 2, and I was craving one of those games so bad, like, and I waited so long. I mean, waiting fucking half a decade to get the fucking game, like, that 2D Sonic goodness, and it just didn't come. They canceled it. There was just there was not enough. I don't know. There was demand, but I guess they saw that the project wasn't going the way how they wanted. I still never got a clear answer of did it really meet the number of buys, to qualify it for the sequel. I'm gonna say probably. Sonic is one thing that it does is the games do sell. Even the bad games that are not that popular even sell. They at least meet some type of quota. But Sonic Mania, I mean, this game, I've beat it now already, so now I can fully say I haven't, like, 100%ed it, and that's going to be hard to get some of these achievements, like the perfect run. Uh, this is really one hell of a game. I mean, this art style, it's retro, but there's, like, frames of animation that were not even possible on the Genesis. The soundtrack is, like, it doesn't try to sound too Genesis-y. You know, they kind of went for more, you know, you got that CD quality sound, that Sonic CD. And the art style, it's kind of really hard to pinpoint which Sonic sprite they're going for. It really looks like a Sonic 2 sprite. I mean, they've kind of, like, you know, glitzed it up a bit, but it looks like that. They're going more for that kind of look on Sonic. And one thing that I know a lot of people, and I saw on the message boards right away, are going to criticize about this game is the recycling of zones. There are more recycled zones in this game from previous games than there are new zones. And I'm going to say that, you know, this kind of did bother me. But, you know, for retro fans, I think some call me Johnny, which is another great channel, by the way. I'm a fan of his, so you know, I'll give a shout out to Johnny. He's got like 200,000 subscribers, so he's not really one of the big honchos, you know, with the big head on here. So, you know, I'd say subscribe to him, help him out as well. He is a guy that does deserve to have 1 million subscribers. Very good reviews, very honest reviews. You know, you hear him say things that nobody else does, so he covered it pretty well. This is as he put it, a love letter to Sonic fans. People like me that grew up playing these games, probably people like you, that love the retro games, that, like, you know, worship Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic 2 and all those great games. So, you know, you see the game starts off with Green Hill Zone. You got Chemical Plant in there, Hydro City. You get to see what else? Oh, Oil Ocean Zone. They throw that in there. You've got a number of stages in here, and it's, you know, and you even get to see Angel Grove Island in the beginning. So that's nice that they threw that in there as well. So there's just a lot of throwbacks in here. You know, and you get to see, you know, Knack the Weasel, Fang, if we're talking about what they called him in the Game Gear games. You get to see Bean and shit from Sonic the Fighters, even Dynamite, whatever the hell his name is. You know, there's like 3 characters we haven't seen in fucking like decades, like 20 years, from those other obscure Sonic titles. So they come back, you know, for like little cameo appearances. But there's like so much to like about this game because it gives you so much of that old stuff, but they remix the zones. There's like a lot going on. So Chemical Plant, yes, it does have the same layout, but different backgrounds, different elements. You know, it's like, oh, I remember that part, but whoa, I don't remember this. You get that kind of thing going here. And that's really enjoyable. And the boss battles are mixed up. So you get, you know, a mix. So Robotnik's there. He's got the hard-boiled heavies, which are like kind of like the egg bots. Like, what's his name? Alpha from Sonic Adventure. Kind of like that type of thing going on. And each one has its own gimmick. One guy's like a magician, like an illusionist, and another one is like a biker, like, you know, he rides a motorcycle, and there's another one that's like a ninja, and these are like good little gimmicks. And Robotnik's boss battles, they're really interesting. There's even one boss battle where, believe it or not, it's Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. You play like a round of Mean Bean Machine, the Puyo Puyo game. And that was a huge surprise. That was hilarious. I posted that up on social media as soon as I saw that. I was like, that's funny that they threw that in there. Like, all of a sudden, you're like ready for the boss battle, and it just slides you like into this game, and it's awesome. It's a game within a game. Didn't expect that. So many surprises going on in this game. The music is great. They remix like the old tracks. The new tracks for the new zones are good. The last stage, what the fuck is it called? Something the Monarch zone. That stage is fucking crazy. I mean, that is a long ass stage, and I'll tell you, a couple of times I was going through it and I was running out of time. Those are like stages where you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta learn those gimmicks, and there are like a lot of like new gimmicks in that stage. And that Monarch zone, it's a fucking killer, man. I mean, it's not easy. It's like it's really tasking, and there's just a lot of shit going on, and like there's a lot of vertical stuff going on. Like they have these orbs and you have to spin around them and like keep progressing to the top. Very, very good level design. I mean, like this is like it's way better than Sonic 4. I didn't think like the Sonic 4 level design was awful, like especially in episode 2. But comparing it to this, I mean, this is an upgrade. Like this is definitely just as memorable as like the past Sonic games. Like you see a clear difference. And this developer, Christian Whitehead, I mean, this is one talented dude. This is one guy that knows what he's doing. And you can see the way how he ported games with Sonic CD and everything. I mean, like this is a guy that gives you a complete experience. I mean, very, very, very impressive. You've got a mix of so many retro things. Like you've got the blue sphere bonus levels. You've got the UFO. Like the way you get the Chaos Emeralds is you chase one of those UFOs from Sonic CD, and you chase it to the end of the stage. Um, there's a lot of great little things where they really capitalize on the fact that there's more frames of animation. They could do more on the next gen console, like way next gen. Like, and they never let they know the graphics could be better, but they don't make them so great that it looks like it's next gen. It feels like like back from the 16-bit console wars, but you could tell it's refined. That's the great charm of the game. The elemental shields come back. You've got the regular shield from Sonic 2 in there, and Sonic 1. And you've got the flame shield, which is awesome. And you get that shield in Oil Ocean Zone. So when you're in the oil, like it gets set ablaze, and I thought that was awesome. How they thought about putting that in there and adding that element, and that adds a lot to the visuals. Um, there's a lot going on in the stages. They like a lot with the backgrounds. There's a stage where it's like the Old West, and there's a train. Um, it like they just there's so many things that they haven't done in the Sonic games that they do in this one, and they take the old and mix it with the new and the remixes, and it doesn't feel cheap. Like when I thought about like remixing the zones, I was like, oh well, we just saw this in Sonic Generations, but there's a whole new spin on it. It really feels a lot different when you're really looking at it from the classic perspective that it's 2D. Once you start playing the game, everything that like, oh, this is going to be too familiar, that all just fades away because you just have such a great time with this game. And I give them a lot of credit for this. I mean, this is a game that probably took a lot of hard work to like, because they wanted to really follow this game up. Like, this feels like a true sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is crazy, that you think that this is like how many years later that they're giving us a sequel to this game. It's so like long overdue. 2 decades. And it feels more like a true sequel than Sonic 4. Like, this feels more realistic. It's like you could tell Christian Whitehead and the team, they're like real fans and they really love that retro Sonic feel, and it's this game is like oozing with that. So this is a great game. Definite recommendation. I would definitely say just for the $20, go for it. Of course, it's just such a great experience. I'd even be willing to pay more for this game. Really, if it was like 30, 40, 50, I'd pay it because it's a great experience. You're just gonna have so much fun with this game. There's a lot of replayability. Go back, get the achievements or the trophies, whatever, depending on what console you're playing for. Um, it's a lot of replayability. And just like the other Sonic games, like how many times have I played through those? You're gonna want to go back and play them several more times. So there you go, guys. It's my thoughts on the game. I'm really impressed by it. I don't think I have to mention you could play as Sonic and Tails, or just Sonic and Knuckles and mix it up. And the Knuckles, I still have yet to do that though. I have not played through the game as Knuckles yet, but that's coming. I'm gonna do that too. So there you go, guys. Till next time, let's go buy Sonic Mania.